Hey, what's up, guys? Today we'll be talking about money versus happiness. There has always been a discourse as to whether money directly impacts happiness or whether money is actually important for somebody to be happy. And today we'll be taking a deep dive into it. It has always been a conversation that has always bothered me. And I've always thought about if money doesn't actually matter, then why do we all chase it? And also, if money was everything, then why do rich people still feel unfulfilled? And it has led me to do some research, and some brief facts though is that money is essential for survival, but it does not necessarily guarantee happiness. Also, money affords you some certain level of luxury, some certain level of comfortability, some ability to be decently okay, but it doesn't necessarily impact your happiness after some certain extent. Also, segue to the fact that after some certain level of earning, to the point where you're probably like upper middle class, getting significant amount of money doesn't necessarily equate to significant amount of happiness increased. So no matter how we say it, money at the end of the day is always going to be a super discussed topic, and it's actually very important because at the end of the day it guarantees you some certain level of happiness to an extent. But then there's also a alternate discourse as to people who are probably broke but happy, or are they really happy? Because financial struggles like limit your level of happiness, limit your, ability to live without worrying. So an alternate topic should be the availability of time to do certain things. And I also feel it directly impacts the conversation about money versus happiness, because when you have more money, you have more time and more like space to do things that actually matter to you. And at the end of the day in life, in our search for happiness, in our search for, fulfillment, it most likely stems from the fact that we have to do things that actually matter to us, do things that are precious to us, and this is what money directly impacts. I know at this point it sounds like I'm yapping, but having money gives you, your basic needs, takes away your basic worries, provides you with your basic amenities like shelter, food, security, housing, and stuff. Then you have some certain amount of free time to do things that actually matter to you, because stressing about living like paycheck to paycheck would significantly diminish your ability to be happy, or I would like to believe that to be the case. So then, why are we now always worried about making more money when we get to some certain point where we are okay, but then we are steady struggling to make more? Should it now be that when you reach a certain point, you should relax and like just let life run its cycle and not worry about like other things since you have money? So there's also something called hedonic adaptation, which is, as human beings, we get to become comfortable with increase in our financial situations very fast, in the sense that, let's say you were earning 50k and automatically you have been promoted and you start earning 100k. You would get used to the fact that you are living a 100k life very fast, as opposed to how you think that when you get more money you would automatically become happy and content with what you have. So that's another important thing to note. And I feel that we should be more concerned with what money can do for us, as opposed to just the possession of it. Because when you're bothered about how you can spend your money, or spending your money wisely, or spending your money on things that actually matter to your general happiness, it will give you a more happier life than if you are worrying about always getting more money and trying to like get like the newest car, the newest watch. These are things that will bring happiness at the end of the day, because Though short term, because it's just going to be like a dopamine rush. At the end of the day, hedonic adaptation again. When you get used to the fact that I have a new Benz, I have a new car, the feeling wears up really fast and you are back to chasing for more money again because you believe that money would bring in more happiness. I personally believe that money doesn't even impact my happiness in any way. Maybe I'm just saying that now because I don't have so much money. Like, I'm broke right now, so I have to find a way to be happy regardless to get. But like, since we have determined that settling your basic needs takes away like a lot of your worry and brings some sort of happiness, I feel it's also right to talk about the diminishing return of money as to having a ridiculous amount of money not impacting your happiness. Because to some certain extent, once you get to some certain level of life and you're no longer worrying so much, money doesn't significantly bring more happiness, because at that point, it's experiences over possession, in the sense that a vacation, having an experience with your family, bonding with like friends and, relatives, is assumed to bring more happiness than actually having way more stuff. Though that's me personally, because maybe that's how I was also raised, that's how my perception of life is, because I don't put so much importance on material things and stuff. But I feel at a certain level in life, once you have like the basic thing, money doesn't impact happiness anymore. And even if you're broke, truthfully, you have to always attach your happiness to things that are easily achievable. When you achieve stuff, you're happy most of the time because you have achieved what you want to achieve. You're no longer stressing so much about stuff that you can't even reach. And this is like a human condition that we need to properly talk about, because at the base level, we as human beings are like very, very selfish, and we are greedy people. At the base level, we're always worried about the next thing, as opposed to even being grateful for what we have at the moment. I know this conversation is all over the place, but like, my major point is that to me, money doesn't affect happiness, because if you have $1 billion and it's little things like you're not having to spend proper time with your family, work that even gives you the money is significantly taking away a lot of time that you used to create moments and experiences that will actually give you happiness, then at that point, does money really bring happiness? What money does for us is gives us the ability to be able to outsource tasks, like especially mundane tasks that will just rid us of time that we are supposed to use to like build happiness. So yeah, that's what I feel money does for us. Money doesn't necessarily just automatically buy you like happiness, or even, let me just even stop saying money and just say material things as a whole. Because if you tie your self-worth to money or how much of it you own, then at the end of the day, you just be stressed, burnt out, and you lose a lot of life's simple joys. And in all honesty, happiness is in like the simplest of things. Just cuddling your loved ones, carrying a baby, taking walk and appreciating nature. And these things sound so far-fetched, and they are just simple things that will just give you happiness. I feel the major problem is attachment of self-worth to money. That's the major issue, like tying all your happiness towards how much money you have or how much things you have. Because we are very selfish as human beings, as I've earlier said, and no matter the amount of money you have, you will never be truly happy. That's if money is where you tie your happiness to. No matter the amount of money you have, you cannot be truly happy, because there's always a constant search for more as human beings. That's how we are built. We always want more. We always want more. We always want more. And there will always be more. There's a thing that people say around me, and they say stuff like, where you feel your own stops. That's where another person's own begins. And on the other side of the spectrum, though, money is super important to happiness in a certain way. Because, for example, if you don't have money now, you're sick, your life is messed up, because where will you see bread to take care of yourself, Or if you can't even afford like basic things like school fees, money to eat, money to buy like just little things, then at the end of the day, your happiness is significantly impacted. In my opinion, true happiness comes from family, work, finding purpose, health. Because there's a saying that if you have a health problem, you only have one problem. And at that moment, money doesn't even matter. Money matters because you need money to like care for yourself. But then, at that moment, to you in particular, money doesn't necessarily matter. Things like having time with your family, spending time with your friends, being healthy, finding purpose, finding your true passion. These are things that actually equate happiness. Money will help you achieve it to a certain extent, but basing your whole value and your self-worth totally on money will just totally diminish, because it's just a diminishing return at the end of the day. At some certain point, no matter the addition of more, you don't get more in return. Instead, you start getting less because you start being severely impacted by your quest for more, if that makes any sense. So, yeah. Our happiness should just be attached to stuff that actually matters. Stuff that is long-term. Memories over material things every day of the week. Spending time with your family, doing stuff with your friends, vacations, which money will buy, So it's an inverse conversation at the end of the day. Like, you cannot just probably exhaust it. All I'm just genuinely trying to say is more money does not equate to more happiness at certain levels. If you're broke, get your money up. That's just the best you can do to eventually acquire happiness. But then, the happiness should even be in the journey, not the final result. That's even while you're trying to get your money up, you should attach your happiness to things that are actually achievable by you. And there's still another discourse about how social media affects our perception of money and its relation to happiness. Everybody puts their best foot forward on social media. Nobody's showing you when they are struggling. Nobody's showing you when they are broke. Everybody puts their best foot forward. And if you allow that bother you, that's likes and shares and comments on Instagram, social media validation, what people show on Instagram, what people show on Snapchat, it will just mess up your perception about money. You need money. I won't lie. Like, money has impacted my happiness to a certain level, right? And also the lack of it, because now that I don't have so much money, I'm not as happy as I should be, I would like to assume. But then, you can't just read your life just because you don't have at the moment. Do you get, like? Just try to attach your happiness to things that are easily achievable. It will help your life so much. Life is too easy to a certain degree. Especially when you don't base your happiness on things that you can't achieve. If you base your happiness on things that you can achieve, you constantly always be joyful because you know that these things are temporary. My boss says something super important. He always says that money is just numbers at the end of the day. Obviously, you have to work to have it. You have to ensure that you have it to a certain level. But if you allow money to affect your happiness, you'll just always be distraught, in all honesty. So yeah, base your money on what you can achieve. Base your happiness on things that are actually achievable by you. Base your happiness on things that you can easily get. Obviously, set goals. Don't be lazy in life because you can't say, if I don't have money now, doesn't mean I shouldn't be happy. Obviously, get your bread up. But then, ensure that your happiness isn't severely affected by the money you have. In conclusion, does money buy happiness? Or is happiness directly attached to money? Yes or no? To some certain extent, money impacts happiness, for sure. I'm not saying that in any way. Don't even get me wrong. I'm talking from sort of a privileged standpoint. Like, I'm not talking from the place of severe lack. There are people that money severely affects their happiness because they don't have anything, right? Not having anything will also like impact your happiness at the end of the day, but do not let money like totally define your life. Ensure that your happiness is tied to things that are easily achievable, things that you can actually do. My happiness is directly attached to food. If I have football boots, if I'm healthy, I'm totally okay. Nothing else matters to me at that point. Like, I'm happy. Little things can now start impacting my happiness here and there. But then the bulk of my happiness is attached to what I can achieve. Inshallah, I should be able to eat. I should be able to buy boots or at least buru. And what else? If I'm healthy, that one is on God. Still brings to the point why your life as a whole self should just be predicated on God and his provisions for you. Whatever God gives you at a certain point, you should be content with. Obviously, work hard to do better, get your bread up. But then, ensure your happiness is not based on things that actually do not have true value. Getting a new watch, getting a new car, getting a new house, these things will make you happy. Yes, it will bring some certain level of comfort to your life. True. But then, is it the all and entirety of your life? No. These things matter to a certain point, as I've said so many times. The law of diminishing return. At a certain point, adding more will not necessarily bring more result. At a certain point in your life, getting significant amount of money will not bring significant amount of happiness. Also, in conclusion, on the flip side, don't say because money doesn't impact happiness, then you'll be broke. Ensure that you have bread. They always say, no let money finish for your hand. It's real. Ensure that you have some certain amount of money. Truly in life, the principle is, if you work hard to a certain extent, you put in a certain amount of effort, bread should reach your hand in a certain way. You get. Work hard, make sure that you're financially okay to a certain extent, right? But then do not base your happiness on things that do not actually matter. Let your happiness be based on family, relationship, ensuring that you are finding passion, finding yourself as an individual, things that actually matter, things that would bring you happiness, even long term, right? Getting new stuff is just short term, dopamine hits, and as I said, the hedonic adaptation. Before you know, you have already adapted to your new level of wealth. You have already adapted to your new level of, getting bread. Make sure that your true happiness is found on stuff that actually matters, stuff that's actually long term. As I've said earlier, memories over materials. The things you do that bring you happiness in the past will always bring you happiness at certain times in your life. So yeah, just do your best to have bread, but then don't let money directly impact your life. Also, let me know in the comments what you feel about this. Do you think money actually buys happiness, or do you think happiness should be tied to money, or what exactly do you think? Let me know in the comment section. I would actually reply to every comment. I know this conversation was not totally detailed, mostly just yapping here and there, but inside there, there's still some kind of yarns, and hopefully I can do this long term and try and provide more videos as Sirio decides. Peace, love, and life. Love you all so much. Alhamdulillah.